India was doing before our acquisition. We've also been able to improve quality where it can now be used for semiconductor applications also in Japan and Korea markets. So I think overall it's moving positively, and we feel, it will contribute well in the current financial year. So as we had given also target, 50 to 100 crores at full utilization levels, we feel in current year it will contribute in that range, at least 50, and I would say more closer to between 50 and 100, but more closer to 70 crores or higher by end of the year.
Sure, sir. Those were my questions. Thank you. Thank you for answering those.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Archit Joshi from B&K Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, sir. Thanks for the opportunity. I just have one question, and specifically you mentioned about renewable power earlier, which also seems a prospect for electrolytes and salts being used as a use case application. Sir, I think from what we have heard in the last few months, maybe quarters, that the scale of ambition of the government, at least in renewable power, seems to be far higher in terms of capex, and even the private capex over here has been quite high, and that having a use case in renewable power also becomes a big enough area for electrolytes to be put in use. What would be the scenario over there? I mean, the batteries in use in solar and wind maybe, are they fully imported? Why are we not participated to that particular application area? Given that the pace of capex over there is maybe much faster than what's happening on the EV battery side. So what would be your thoughts on that? Thank you.
So Archit, yes, I mean, I agree with you, and whatever I have also heard in trade conferences, we are seeing government being very active, and also they have realized that more renewable energy can come only with storage. So storage is a very critical component of that. In fact, some of the battery trade shows that we used to go to, now we are seeing some of the solar people come here because they want to understand, because battery is becoming a very critical component for renewable energy also to be successful. However, having said that, this was always the plan. So even in the 160 gigawatt hours kind of what we have projected, which was estimated by industry body, around 40 gigawatt hour was already planned to be for energy storage. So again, this was an estimate which was done 2 years back. I don't think people have put a revised number that how much it will be by 2030, but I think once a lot of policy measures which the government is discussing to support that, so once, I think the industry gets clarity on that, we'll be able to say whether the 40 gigawatt hour can further increase. But to be fair, I mean, to clarify, there's already a plan for that. So, but again, whether it can exceed that, so that's something which we need to still see. Also, I think, even in case of Reliance also, they've shown that, they wanted to use this because of their zero carbon kind of targets. And again, their use case also was energy storage. Now, from our side, it's almost the same thing. In fact, most of the people will use LFP-based kind of cells because they are cheaper cells. There are some small variations on the cathode and anode side, but electrolyte in principle remains the same. Only the additives can be a little less complex or something. So basically, our facility can basically take care of the renewable energy storage demand of battery cells also.
Understood, sir. Sir, just to follow up on the same thing, how is the supply chain working out to be over there? Because I'm sure that there's a lot of money being poured in these projects already. They also must have had some plans with respect to storage and all. So how are they dealing with it right now, given that there's no particular battery manufacturer in India?
So, same ways as whatever EVs are doing today, that they basically import the cells and then the batteries are assembled here. and there are like a couple of companies which are specialized in that. And there are some which are even specialized not only to assemble the battery, but then put all these batteries together in a container, and that becomes kind of a module, which is then supplied to as an energy storage kind of module. So there are some companies which are also specialized there. And again, the expectation is that as India's cell manufacturing picks up, and again, I'm not very sure of Ola because, they have their own internal consumption and how much they are planning for energy storage. But clearly for Exide and Amar Raja or Reliance, energy storage is, or even Lucas TVS, for all of them, energy storage is one of the market which they would definitely look at.
Got it, sir. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Anirudh Shetty from Solidarity Investment Managers. Please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for the opportunity. I had two questions. So my first question was a follow-up to the last question around, hybrid vehicles. Just wanted to understand this more simply. So typically between an EV and a hybrid vehicle, how does the consumption of electrolyte change? I know it would be different depending on model, but just as a rule of thumb, how different is that?
So I know that the hybrids would battery per. So what we know, at least some of these hybrids use on the anode carbon along with LTO, so lithium titanate. And when they use that, the electrolyte consumption per gigawatt hour actually increases. So at least some of the models of these hybrids, in the past we said that the NMC battery would require 500 metric ton per giga, LFP somewhere between 1200 to 1500 metric ton per giga. Hybrid battery, especially at least some of the designs which are popular, would use somewhere between 1500 to 2000 metric ton per giga. But having said that, this is based on my understanding and theoretical. We've not yet, talked to anybody who's specifically making this type of cells within India. So we've so far not seen an activity to make a cell specifically for hybrid in India. So I've not been able to double check this number.
Okay, sorry. And so my second question was, more on the balance sheet side. If you could share some color around how our net working capital situation has evolved since the last quarter.
So it's been improving. So overall, we have been operating cash flow positive in the first quarter and as of now. Well, you'll get to see more numbers in September, but we are on stable and improving track. It's not becoming worse.
Okay, good to hear, sir. Thank you for taking the question.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhijit Akella from Kotak Securities. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking the follow-up, sir. So the customs duty cut, does that apply to imports of lithium carbonate and hydroxide as well, or is it only for the, pure metal itself?
Actually, it's the reverse. It applies to lithium carbonate and lithium hydroxide.
Okay. So it's a straight saving in our raw material cost.
Yes. So to that extent, our electrolyte. So in the international market, it doesn't make so much of a difference because anyway we would have a advanced license because ultimately it's getting exported. But when we are selling it locally, to that extent, our cost goes down.
Got it. And just the other thing was, slide 20 of the presentation mentions that the organic revenue would have been 14 crores higher, adjusted for the decline in the bromine price. So does that mean that instead of 142 crores, it would have been 156 for the quarter? Is that how we should interpret it?
Yeah. So, the values given there are that if the same selling price was applicable today, so I guess it's also bromine as well as market conditions. But if the same prices were same rate, so if I was selling product at 120 rupees before, and I'm just saying as an example, if I'm selling it today 110, so that delta was basically transferred, then the revenue would have been 156 crore. And similarly, in case of battery is where, I mean, the inorganic lithium is where you can see bigger, where if the same lithium prices existed as what we sold in Q1 FY24, it would have been 27 crores higher. So volume-wise, in case of organic, the growth is bigger, and in case of inorganic also, there is a volume growth. But just because of the lower prices, either it's shown as a lower growth or a decrease, on the revenue numbers.
Right. So the numbers would have been 156 in organic and 65 in inorganic.
Correct. If the same rates as we had in Q1 were applicable last year. So I think, we were seeing already lithium prices decrease, and then Q2, Q3 was where they bottomed out. Now they are stable, but so I think in 2-3 quarters you will have this impact. Then depends on what lithium does and how the bromine and organic molecules contribute.
Got it. And just final thing from my side, on the CSM business, if you could please give us some update about how things are looking there. I know there's been destocking and all of those things, but you've been in discussions with several customers. So how is that coming along, and by when could we see some traction in that business?
So I'm happy, even in spite of all these challenges that we are seeing and, over some of the agro CSM customers not having a demand, we did a good job of contribution from CSM and contract manufacturing. So we are still able to maintain, upwards of 15% of revenue. Our target is to reach 20% of the revenue in CSM business. What has helped is, as I explained earlier, we have flavors and fragrance, and we also started diversifying. So we had some more pharma projects, some more flavors and fragrance projects, and we also started diversifying into some other applications, such as something which is used in engineering, something which is used as a starting material by other specialty chemical companies, like to make a specialty polymer or something, and also something in semiconductors. So all of these together, these projects are exciting and helped us maintain the CSM at 15% level. So we hope that as as these projects develop further, and also once the agro demand comes back, we will hope to cross around 20% target that we have for sure by next financial year. If the agro business comes back well in the second half, then maybe even in the current financial year, we can get 20% contribution from CSM.
Got it. Thank you so much, sir. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you. A reminder to all the participants, you may press star and 1 to ask a question. The next question is from the line of Ayush Rathi from Aditya Birla Money. Please go ahead.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Hi sir, thanks for taking my question. Sir, you seem to be on track with a lot of battery business plans, which is a really positive thing. I actually just wanted to understand if you could give some insights on the pricing scenario. Do we see a plateau forming, or prices are still forming, or how volatile are the prices right now in the current scenario? If you could just give some colors.
So, if I look at our inorganic chemicals, which is mostly lithium-based compounds, we saw raw material prices kind of hit their bottom, and now, they generally trade into a narrow band of around $10 to $12 or $13. So let's say $11.5 plus minus $1.5 for last 1 or 2 quarters. So lithium, that is a base material. And I think our customers also, who are waiting for the prices kind of to bottom out, have now kind of, realized that this is the bottom. And again, we've seen the demand again come back. So we've seen some increase in our sales price, but more or less it has stabilized now. And we feel from here, as the lithium prices will increase, then, the prices can go up higher. My analysis also says, at least based on my understanding, that long term, the current price of lithium is unsustainable because this is the price at which the old mining companies can make profit, but the newer mining companies cannot make profit. So if they stay at this level, you will see some of the new miners stop production, which would reduce the demand, and then you will again, reduce the supply, and then you will again see the prices go high. So that's my expectation. Now, whether that happens within 1 year, whether in 2 years, depends on many things, but this is my expectation on the lithium side. In terms of organic chemicals, I think, of course, the input prices are also going down. So like bromine, solvents, petrochemical compounds, so they were all reducing. So that was one part. But the bigger part also was that, China, where there was excess capacity, when the demand is less, they tend to dump. Some of the places we have seen, like, the delta between delta between raw material and the final almost disappear. So, almost they are selling at RMC kind of price levels. But what we've seen is the lowest has already happened about a quarter ago. Now they are stable or they are slightly increasing. Not yet a rapid increase, but seems to have seen the bottom pricing on the organic side.
All right. Thanks for the detailed answer, sir. One question, like a basic question I wanted to ask. Recently, government has reduced the custom duties, in fact, on lithium. So, by any chance, do we see any prices of our end product, which is electrolytes, going down for that also? Like, if you could just explain the unit economics, how does it affect our margins by anyhow?
Yeah. So, see, basically, I use this lithium carbonate to make lithium LiPF6 or other electrolyte salts, and then that electrolyte salt gets into formulation. Again, directly at a formulation level, in terms of weight, only 15% is electrolyte salt, right? And if you consider lithium carbonate, the contribution of that would be even lower because the electrolyte salt has lithium and something, right? So as a percentage, let's say, so a 7.5% decrease at an electrolyte level, gives me, let's say, a very small reduction, like couple of percentage points. But again, when you are doing volumes like 30 KTA, each percentage matters. And this is something which is positive for us where, when we can import lithium carbonate without paying any duty. So that makes our LiPF6 more competitive and our electrolyte more competitive.
Got it, sir. Thanks a lot for taking my question and all the best for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Yash Shah from Investec. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. So the first question was regarding our inorganic segment. Adjusted for the price fall, in the lithium prices fall, we would have had a volume growth of somewhere between 45 to 50% year on year in this quarter in the inorganic segment. And in the previous years, sir, we closed at 75 to 80% of utilization. Do we have enough capacity for the rest of the year, sir, in this segment? Is my first question.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Okay. And just another question which I had was, we mentioned a couple of times on the call that we are trying to position ourselves as China plus one, be the next cheapest alternative outside China. If you had to quantify in terms of the similar quality we supplied to China, what will be the price differential? In some way, if you can quantify that. Thank you, sir.
So, yes, I mean, we do say we are the cheapest outside China, but we also say that if you take a 3-year or a 4-year view, we would also add more value as compared to China. And this is actually the fact. I mean, we've done some number calculations that if somebody entered into a formula-based pricing with Neogen 4 years ago, and when lithium went very high, very low, they were using the same formula at which we are currently selling LiPF6 or, the agreements which we have gotten into with international customers, as compared to the spot China market price, they would have made more money by paying us higher for some portion of the time. Because when they pay us high, it's like X. But when China increases price during shortage, it's crazy high. So therefore, overall, we still add more value to them. So it's not just saying that, oh, we are the best, cheapest source outside China. Of course, if you wanted to do the hedging, that's where it helps because let's say other suppliers also have added value. That's why there's a supplier in Japan as well as Korea. But we could have added more value because our cost is lower as compared to them. In terms of percentage, it's difficult to say because, like I said, China has crazy low, crazy highs. Which one I compare? There are times where we are 30, 40, 50% more expensive, even 60% more expensive. And there are times where we are like one third the price of China. Like if I just apply this formula price versus the Chinese spot prices.
Got it, sir. Got it. That's all from my side, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nilesh Guge from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity, Harin. My question is on the capex for our organic, inorganic. As you mentioned while answering previous question that you have sufficient capacity for organic, but any plan to put up expansion in organic and inorganic capacity for, let's say, in FY26, 27?
So on the organic side, we have capacity. I mean, till Neogen basically reaches around 1,000 crores, where I think, if I remember right, I'm saying Neogen standalone reaches about 1,000 crores, in which I think organic contribution would be somewhere around 700 to 750 crores. So we already have capacity in place for that. And till we hit that number of 175 crores, let's say, of organic production. And you can see we are still far away from that. Till that time, we have capacity. We also feel that after we reach peak utilization level, at least in the current scenarios, instead of immediately adding more capacity, we would like to basically stabilize the products, get better product mix, and use the same capacity, maybe with some small debottlenecking or small capex, to basically contribute and more. So I think if we maintain our target that by FY26 Neogen reaches its full utilization level, we reach 1,000 crore, and then FY27 we debottleneck and get another 15% revenue growth. So I think till FY27, most likely, unless there is some very large project, and you never say never, but at least in our current plans, we would just like to continue with the existing capacity, use it to the fullest, and optimize the product mix and the capacity utilization. So most likely FY27 is where we would consider organic capex to take care of our growth in FY28 and 29. But I think FY25 and FY26, most likely no significant organic capex. As I mentioned in one of my earlier answers, in Beauty we do see scope for increasing the capacity because there our expectation is based on order book. This year we will start hitting full utilization of the capacity which we had estimated. And with the environmental approval which has come in, we still have to do some more stages of processing of that. But once we get the approval, maybe by second half, we may look at further increasing the Beauty capacity. But it's just an incremental debottlenecking type. So it will not require too much of capex from our side on the organic side. Inorganic side, in our existing facility, just by debottlenecking without, significantly making a new investment, we will be able to add more capacity. So it's something which I'm not planning. But yeah, once we start hitting 150, 200 crores, so like a quarterly number of 50 crore plus on like a stable lithium price kind of a basis, that's when we will start considering, whether we need to do slight increase in the lithium capacity.
Okay. And secondly, on our electrolyte business, so you do say that, okay, you have already sent samples to your customers and customers will sign maybe probably in the FY26 for a long-term contract for the supply of electrolyte. So, just for my understanding, is it like that the customers are waiting for our commercial facility to commission and then get the product with the quality and the purity of the electrolyte, and then they will sign contract? Is it like that?
First of all, clarification, I said in FY25 or FY26. So we can sign some contracts this year also. In my view, our facility is there, especially if I'm thinking of the large giga customers. Our facility is there before they start, so we are ready for them. It's just that they need to use our electrolyte once in the plant, get confidence, and then based on that, they can go ahead and sign the contract. Also, there are two kinds of contracts. One says, I will supply to you, you will buy from me, and the second says you will buy XYZ quantity minimum, and I will supply maximum so much. So for the second type of contracts to happen, you need to have also a volume clarity on the sides of the customer. So, these gigafactories, as they ramp up their production stabilizes, then they have a better view of where we would.
Okay. Thanks, Arvind. Thanks a lot.
Sorry about the disturbance. Right.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sabyasachi Mukherjee from Bajaj Finserv Asset Management Company. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for the opportunity, Dr. Harin. Good evening. First question is could you talk about this semiconductor opportunity that you mentioned in your remarks? What are these products exactly? Is it an exports opportunity or domestic opportunity as well? How big could be this opportunity?
So basically there are three types. So the organolithium compounds which we are making in Beaulieu, so they find usage to make other chemicals which are then used in semiconductor. So let's say we would be like a tier 2 supplier in case of a semiconductor chip manufacturing facility where we would supply this organolithium to somebody who would then make the chemical which would go into semiconductors. So this is one opportunity we have. On top of that, in our organic synthesis, we have made like a specialty gas of a purity like 99.99% and higher, which then is used for semiconductor manufacturing. So we have some projects which are under contract manufacturing model where we basically make these products for international market. And the third is there are some organic chemicals which we are making, which very high purity versions of that without the metal content will be used for making certain kind of chemicals for semiconductors. So again, that would be like a tier 2 kind of a supply situation. So we feel like, again, like battery materials, we have an opportunity to be a tier 2 supplier in the international market, learn from that. And then hopefully when semiconductor manufacturing comes in India, we can use that partnership and try to see if, we can forward integrate and be a tier 1 supplier in India. So again, that's something which will take time, but we just made some start. We have these 3 engines. One is organic molecules, which are like organic molecules required for semiconductor manufacturing, organolithium compounds, and the specialty gases of very high purity for semiconductor application.
Got it. I mean, still it's early days, but we have kind of made a breakthrough here.
Yes. So it will be like in the current, it will be like few crores getting into few tens of crores in the current financial year. Let's see, we just starting with that, and then we'll see how we can ramp it up and make it more significant going forward.
Got it. Second question on the mention of 900 to 1,000 crores by FY26 on the press release as well as in the management commentary in the presentation. This is for the standalone piece, right?
Yes, standalone piece.
Okay. And if I were to kind of break it down to organic, bully and inorganic, it would be